Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Girl Be Free podcast. I'm your host, Siobhan, where I'm going to inspire and motivate you to show up for yourself. So, this week, I'm going to share two things that I'm loving. The first thing is momentum-.com, and this is a Chrome extension. It's where you can personalize your dashboard. So, every day, when I open up my computer, there's a beautiful scenic view of some place more than likely I never heard of or I never been to. And there's always a quote there as well. And it'll say, "Good morning, Siobhan," or "Good afternoon, Siobhan." And it'll ask me, what is my main focus for the day? And along with that beautiful scenic view, there's also a quote. So, y'all know I love positivity, love all things quotes and affirmations. So, this is right up my alley. If you want to download this desktop, or this display, I should say, you can go to momentum-.com. Again, it is a Chrome extension. And the second thing that I want to share, what I'm loving this week, is a quote that was on my screen for today. And it says, "Your mind is a powerful thing. When you fill it with positive thoughts, your life will start to change." And I really love that quote. And it says unknown, so I'm not really sure who wrote that quote, but I really love it because it speaks to exactly what I believe. I do think that our minds are very powerful and that we do have to focus on positivity. And when you do, that's when you'll start to see your life change. It's the very reason that I just recently relaunched, which is backed by popular demand, the Master Your Mind Boot Camp, which is a 6-week group coaching program designed to help women dump the negative head trash so they can begin to show up for themselves. And in this 6-week boot camp, you get 6 weeks worth of lessons, you get community support, you get mentorship and guidance from me, of course, homework, and so much more. So, if you're interested in the 6-week boot camp, enrollment is closing soon, and there's still time to get in. If you go to masteryourmindbootcamp.com, that link will be in the show notes. And when I saw this quote, it just reminded me that I was on the right path, that the work that I'm doing about helping women shift the way that they think so that they can show up for themselves is right in alignment. And my goal, and I say this often, is not just for you to stop here and listen to the podcast, but how are you going to change your life? How are you going to show up for yourself? And yes, it's great to get this positivity and this information, but you have to do something with it. So I definitely want to personally invite you to the Master Your Mind Bootcamp. Again, it's a 6-week group coaching program, and you can go to masteryourmindbootcamp.com to learn more. And I will put that link in the show notes. Next, I want to share the listener review for this week, and it comes from Screw Insta 696969. And she says, "All the right things I needed to hear. Your journey is inspiring. I am thankful for these podcasts." So I appreciate that, doing this type of work, and I just share this on Instagram. It's not easy putting your work out in the world because you get open or you open yourself up for judgment and criticism. And even with the positivity that I share, there's still people that will, that can leave negative comments or say negative things and make you question, all right, is this the right thing? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? So I love when I get the feedback from you guys that you're enjoying what I'm sharing, is helping you in your life. And when you leave comments, whether you do that on Apple Podcast, you leave a message on the Girl Be Free podcast page on Instagram, or email me or what have you, I really appreciate it. Like, it really feeds my energy. It fuels my soul because it lets me know that people are encouraged and inspired by the work that I'm doing. And even when I have my bad moments, I can listen to certain things or I can read comments, and that's just the encouragement that I need to, get back in the game. So thank you always for sharing that, and feel free to continue to do so. I really appreciate it. So this week's topic is called "When You're Not Feeling Your Best, I Want You to Do These 5 Things." And this was inspired by a member in the BeFree Inner Circle. Her name is Latania. And earlier this week, she commented on a post that was in the BeFree Inner Circle. And she said, "I have not been feeling like my best self, trying to figure things out now." And so I said some encouraging words to her. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to go live on Instagram and we're going to talk about the same. I'm going to talk about this to kind of give, because I know you're not alone and I know there's people out there that can relate and they feel the same. And then after I did an IG live earlier this week. I said, you know what? I'm going to record a podcast episode on it because, IG live only lasts for 24 hours. But I wanted this message to continue on because I feel like we all can relate to not feeling our best all the time. Life is hard, adulting is hard. We all have our moments when we're not feeling 100%. And we have to be okay with that, right? Because you're not expected to have the perfect day every single day. Like you're going to have your moments. But the thing that I want to encourage my community, the Girl Be Free listeners, the Be Free family, is that I don't want you to stay in a negative space. Like I want to give you tips and tools and help you figure out like how do you shift your mindset? Like how do you focus on the things that you can't control versus letting your thoughts or whatever is happening around you get the best of you. And so again, I want to just reemphasize is that we all have our moments. We all have days, no matter who you are, where you're not feeling 100%. And that is okay. I'll tell you, I woke up this morning feeling all in my feelings. I really was. I didn't get an episode out yesterday like I wanted to. I had some of these negative thoughts floating around in my mind, and I'm like, wait, something is off. And so for me, I started feeling like I wasn't good enough. Just started second guessing and questioning certain things because I do have my moments as well. And you know how that little negative voice can get in your head and just have you all over the place. And so when I noticed this morning, like when I woke up that I was having these thoughts, I took some time to kind of process. I did some meditation. I emailed my coach so that way I wasn't keeping what I was feeling to myself. And then this way we could work through it during our next session, which is tomorrow. So I'm really grateful that I have someone that I can reach out to right away to help me process this and help me figure out like what's going on. So like I said earlier, life is hard, adulting is hard. It all, all of that is a challenge, right? And the goal isn't to be perfect, but to be self aware enough to know when you're not feeling your best and then what do you need so that you can switch things up. Because if you allow yourself to stay in a negative space, that can take you all down a spiral, and have you in a whole different mental space, somewhere that you don't want to be. So the good thing is that you're self-aware enough to know what you need and that the importance of being able to reach out. So I knew that's what I needed. And I can tell you the same thing for Latania. The reason that she posted, that she wasn't feeling her best self and she was trying to figure things out. The reason that she posted that in the group, because she knew she was going to get a response from me that was going to be encouraging, uplifting, but also challenge her to take action. And so I forgot what I said to her, but she came back and said, I just don't feel like working out today. I'm just sitting on this floor trying to figure out if I'm going to work out or not. So then that was again her letting me in, and I immediately said, "Go work out!" and exclamation marks. Because if you're not feeling your best and you don't work out, then that's just going to add on to how you're going to feel emotionally later on. But if you go work out, at least you can get release some of that stress, and that won't be a thing that you can feel even worse about, if you didn't work out and you're not feeling your best. And so she did. She listened to me and I told her, I said, check back in after you had your workout. And she did that like 30 or so minutes later. And I'm like, see, don't you feel so much better? And just having that accountability to be able to check in and say, okay, this person has my back and I don't want to let her down. So I'm going to go work out. And she did just that. And I was oh so proud. And then she got so many words of encouragement from other members in the group. And it's just what we need, right? And so I want to share with you 5 things that I want you to do when you're not feeling your best self. And before I get into those 5 things, know that it's okay when you're having a moment. I just don't want that moment to turn into a day, to turn into a bad week, to turn into a bad month, and so forth. Like, I really want you to be intentional about moving forward and be self aware to know what you need, when you need it, so that way you can correct it and keep it pushing. So, number one, I want you to be honest with yourself. So, when you wake up feeling like I did today, that, something was off, or you just feel like you're not your best self, be honest where you're at with your feelings. Okay? That is so important. I feel oftentimes we ignore certain things. We don't want to admit that we're going through something, or we feel like, we just kind of brush past it. No, Acknowledge and be honest with yourself where you're at. Okay, that's number one. Number two, don't ignore how you feel. Your emotions that you're feeling in the moment, they're yours. Don't ignore them. So if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling discouraged, frustrated, pissed off, or whatever that emotion is, don't ignore it and look over it, because that emotion would trigger another emotion, and then something that you could have identified or acknowledged in the beginning now has got you all on a this emotional spiral roller coaster type of deal. No, don't ignore how you feel. And the best thing to do when you're not feeling your best is to journal what you're feeling internally so you can begin to process your thoughts. Number three, determine what you need. So after you are honest with yourself and you're not ignoring that feeling that you're having, right? Determine what do you need in this very moment. So for me, I needed to reach out to my coach to say, hey, this is what I'm feeling right now, and this is why. And she responded within the hour and said, okay, we'll talk about that on our session during our session tomorrow. And that just felt better in itself, just being able to reach out to someone and let them know how I was feeling so that we can work through it. But you determine what you need. So this is why I talked about a few episodes ago about having a self-care toolkit, knowing what you need when it's time to practice self-care and self-love. So whether that's a good cry, some laughter, encouragement. Maybe your body just needs some rest because you're too busy doing so many different things. Those are just a few things that come to my mind, first. Figure out what do you need and start doing some of those things. So if you haven't listened to that episode yet, go back and listen to, I believe it's titled What's in Your Toolkit. And I also have a resource guide called 101 Resources Every Woman Needs to Live Her Best Life. You can download that free resource by clicking the link in the show notes. And so that way you have a guide to help you when it comes to self-care. Number four, reach out to someone. So as I mentioned earlier, Latania in the BeFree Inner Circle, she reached out because she made that post. And she didn't post it just for the sake of posting it. Internally or subconsciously, I believe that she knew that I was going to encourage her and motivate her to do something. And she did that, right? And so I was able to challenge her to go work out, and her day was better as a result of working out and all that jazz. The same thing with me reaching out to my coach. If you have a friend, someone that can be a listening ear for you and that will allow you space to be transparent and vulnerable, and they won't judge you, but they will give you some encouraging words. Do not, I repeat, do not keep it all inside, and share with people who understand and get you, and they will not judge you or throw it up in your face later, because I've seen that happen. And then lastly, number five is to focus on your thoughts. So again, the quote that I shared in the very beginning, your mind is a powerful thing. And when you fill it with positive thoughts, your life will start to change. So it's very important that you don't allow those negative thoughts to fester, that you process and you acknowledge them, and then you switch them to something positive, and you do what you need to do in order to begin to change your life and change your mind and change the way that you show up. You become what you believe. And if you allow yourself to believe all these negative things, then guess what? You're going to continue to attract that and believe that about yourself. But if you switch and focus on positive thoughts, you focus on positive reinforcement, you focus on showing up in the best possible way each day, that's when you're going to start to see your life change. So those are the things that I want to share with you. Again, the Master Your Mind Bootcamp is now open for enrollment, and it is perfect to help you silence the negative head chatter so that you can show up for yourself. It's 6 weeks of coaching with myself, as well as having the community support, homework, and everything that you need to really begin to master your thoughts so that you can show up for yourself. To learn more, go to masteryourmindbootcamp.com. That link will be in the show notes. And if you ever have any question about anything, feel free to shoot me an email at hello@befreeproject.com. So your action step for this week, I wanted to let you guys know that I am now going live on Instagram 2 to 3 times a week, definitely on Monday, Wednesday, and then occasionally a Tuesday or Thursday. And I'm going live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my page, BeFree Project. Okay, so make sure you follow me at BeFree Project on Instagram. And I'm calling these my BeFree chats, where we'll talk about everything from self care, personal growth, getting unstuck, what it means to be free, and just taking this podcast to the next level. So if you want to connect with me on IG, follow me at BeFree Project, and we can continue these discussions. This week, I want to highlight dope women doing dope things. And I'm going to bring up Latania again. She's a member in the BeFree Inner Circle. She's been a member for a long time now. And she is a licensed therapist. And first of all, she's doing amazing work. I just love the work that she's doing. It started a couple of months ago. I believe this will be the third month, where every month she writes a article in the BeFree Inner Circle around mental wellness and mental health. And I love that we've added this feature to the BeFree Inner Circle, because so many women come to me asking me about therapy, and we have a licensed therapist in the BeFree Inner Circle where you can ask your questions. And like I said, every month she writes an article all about mental wealth, excuse me, all about mental health and mental wellness. So I am so proud of her. I love her growth. I love how honest and vulnerable she is. And she's committed to doing the work and showing up and adding so much value to the BeFree Inner Circle, which I am so grateful for. So if you want to learn more about the BeFree Inner Circle, just go to BeFreeInnerCircle.com, and we would love to have you a part of our community. I am grateful, and I have to continue to say that every single week, that you allow me to be in your ears, that you are sharing with me what you're learning. You guys are emailing me, you're leaving, comments on the podcast, and I'm just so grateful that I get an opportunity every week to share what I love and what is helping me. And then also, you guys are letting me know that this content is helping you as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, girl, be free.